Have you ever told yourself, I'm not really doing anything, just sitting? You sit for breakfast, then sit to watch the news, sit in the afternoon knitting a scarf, and sit again in the evening watching TV. The whole day feels gentle. No running around, no heavy lifting. So it seems like you're just taking it easy. But the truth is, sitting too much after age 60 isn't rest. It's quietly draining your health. The body is like a clock. If it doesn't move regularly, it stops ticking. The longer you sit, the harder it is for blood to circulate, your muscles start to fall asleep, your joints stiffen, and even your memory begins to fade. But the most dangerous part, you get used to sitting too much and start believing that aches, numbness, or dizziness are just part of getting old. Are you experiencing this? Feeling lightheaded when standing up after sitting for too long? Numbness in your legs after 30 minutes in a chair? Trouble sleeping? Getting irritable? Or forgetting things you just said? If any of that sounds familiar, this video is for you, and at the end, I'll share 3 simple, gentle ways you can help your body stand up without ever leaving your home. Before we begin, if you're committed to living a healthier, more fulfilling life, hit the like button to help spread this valuable knowledge. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to click subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. And if you're enjoying this content, comment 1 below to let me know you're here. If not, comment 0, and I'll work harder to bring you even better content. Let's dive in now. How does sitting for long periods affect blood circulation? Sitting for long periods might seem like rest, but after age 60, it becomes a silent habit that can harm your circulatory system. When you sit too long, especially without changing positions, blood flow slows down, particularly in your legs, which are farthest from the heart. At that point, your heart has to work harder to pump blood to your brain, and if you don't stand up or move gently, blood starts to pool in your lower limbs. As a result, you may feel lightheaded when standing, tired even without doing anything, and notice your memory fading over time. That's not just aging, it's your brain not receiving enough oxygen. According to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, NHLBI, sitting more than 6 hours a day increases the risk of developing deep vein thrombosis, DVT, a blood clot in the leg. If that clot travels to the brain or lungs, it can cause a stroke or pulmonary embolism, both potentially fatal if not treated in time. This condition, common in older adults, is often called the danger triangle: cold legs, weak heart, foggy brain. And it all begins simply because you've been sitting too much. Muscles, joints, and bones are frozen. The human body was made to move. But when you sit for too long day after day, your glute and thigh muscles, the very muscles that help you stay balanced, begin to weaken and shrink. That's why many older adults experience loss of balance and are more prone to falling, even without any serious medical condition. At the same time, the knees and spine become stiff, causing pain during movement, especially in the mornings or when the weather is cold. Many geriatric doctors refer to this as the sitting syndrome, and there are hundreds of medical studies confirming the link between prolonged sitting and muscle weakness, poor posture, and sleep disturbances in older adults. A study from the University of California found that adults over 65 who sit more than 8 hours a day are twice as likely to suffer from chronic musculoskeletal pain compared to those who engage in light daily movement. Sitting too much affects the mind and emotions. It's not just a passing feeling. When you sit for too long, especially in a quiet space with little light and no movement, your body reduces its production of positive hormones like serotonin and dopamine, the very chemicals that help you feel happy, motivated, and energized. At the same time, prolonged sitting restricts blood flow to the brain, decreasing oxygen supply to the areas responsible for emotions and memory. This can lead to mental fatigue, sadness, and heightened anxiety. It's no coincidence that the American Psychiatric Association, APA, reported older adults who sit more than 7 hours a day have nearly twice the risk of developing mild depression compared to those who move regularly. That feeling of being lazier, less interested, or thinking, "I'm not useful anymore," isn't because you've grown weak. It's because your body is slowly being trapped in silence. If you don't believe it, the consequences won't show up all at once, but they creep in. In the mornings when you don't want to get out of bed, in conversations where you feel like you have nothing to say, in those quiet thoughts whispering that you no longer matter. That's a form of mild depression, quiet, lingering, and dangerous because it makes you give up on yourself without even realizing it. But you can absolutely change that. It starts with small, simple steps, things you can do on your own without anyone's help, but powerful enough to reawaken your energy, your spirit, and the sense that your life still holds meaning. And right after this, I'll share with you 3 easy ways to get up, not just physically, but emotionally too. Solution 1, 30 to 3. Rule: stand up for 3 minutes every 30 minutes of sitting. The truth is, aging doesn't make us weak all at once. It's the small daily habits that quietly wear us down. Sitting too long without standing, without moving, even a little, teaches the body to forget how to function. Blood flow slows, the heart works harder, the brain gets less oxygen, and soon you're feeling tired, dizzy, forgetful, and more prone to falling. But the solution is surprisingly simple. It's called the 33 rule. Every 30 minutes you spend sitting, take 3 minutes to stand up. You don't need to do anything complicated. Just rotate your wrists and ankles, walk around the room, stretch your arms, take a few deep breaths. If you tend to forget, set a small timer. Or even easier, every time a TV commercial comes on, stand up and grab a glass of water. Studies show that doing this regularly can reduce the risk of blood clots in the legs, improve memory, support heart health, and keep your mind sharper. I remember an older gentleman in his 70s joked, "I don't need a reminder. Every time my wife gets up, I get up too, just in case. Then I walk around a bit and I sleep way better now." The best part is, you don't need your kids to help. You don't even need to leave the house. Every time you stand up, you're taking back control of your own body. And the more you do it, the better you feel. Eventually, you won't need a timer. Your body will gently remind you, "Hey, it's time to get up." Try it, even this afternoon. You don't need much. Just 3 minutes of standing up could mean a whole afternoon with less shoulder pain, less fogginess, and most importantly, you're choosing to live actively, rather than letting age convince you to stay in one place. Solution 2. Lazy but effective exercise. Cycling in place on a chair, bend your knees slightly, sit up, and breathe deeply. Have you ever thought, exercise is for younger people? At my age, just sitting still and not falling is already good enough. Many older adults think that way and end up sitting all day, sitting for breakfast, sitting to watch TV, sitting to knit in the afternoon, then sitting again for the evening news. But then when it's time to stand up, the legs feel unsteady, the heart races, there's shortness of breath, sleep becomes restless, and mornings feel heavy. If that sounds familiar, then this exercise is just for you. I call it the lazy but effective workout. Why? Because you don't need to leave your chair, wear sneakers, roll out a mat, or use any equipment. You just stay right where you're watching TV or listening to music and gently lift your legs as if pedaling an invisible bike in the air. Pedal slowly and steadily, about 20 rounds at a time. Then pause, take a deep breath, pull your knees up and down a few times, and repeat. It sounds simple, but here's the truth. This gentle movement activates the thigh and glute muscles, what doctors often call the body's second heart. When you move your legs, blood gets pushed more efficiently from your feet back up to your heart and brain, helping you feel more awake, easing fatigue, reducing dizziness, and lowering your risk of blood clots. If you don't move, nothing changes. But if you do this regularly, you'll feel like your body is being recharged. Some people ask, is this really effective or just feel-good talk? The answer is, it's backed by science. A study from the American Geriatrics Institute found that adults over 65 who did chair pedaling exercises for 15 minutes a day over 6 weeks showed better circulation, reduced fall risk, and significantly improved sleep quality. They didn't go to the gym, they didn't leave the house, all they needed was their living room sofa. I remember Ms. Linda, 78, from Florida. She had fluctuating blood pressure, cold limbs, and would get winded just walking a few steps. She tried this seated pedaling exercise. On the first day, she could barely do 5 rounds before her legs gave out. But she didn't give up. A little more, each day. After 2 weeks, she said, "My legs feel stronger again, I sleep more deeply, and I don't wake up groggy like before." See? Just a few minutes a day, while watching your favorite TV show or listening to music in the afternoon, can help keep your blood flowing, your muscles awake, and your body remembering how to move. You don't need someone to help. You don't need reminders. All you need is the decision to feel better, to stay sharp, and to live more actively, day by day. And the best part is, once you start, your body will remember the refreshing feeling after each little workout. You'll want to keep going, not because anyone tells you to, but because you know you deserve to feel strong, to feel joy, to take care of yourself in a gentle, quiet, but consistent way. Then one day, you'll suddenly realize you're walking more steadily, your legs don't go numb from sitting too long, you're sleeping better without needing pills. You feel alert, you laugh more easily, you talk more openly, and most of all, you feel strong enough to enjoy life in your own way. Just chair cycling, no long road, no finish line, just the choice to start moving from the very seat you're sitting in, and from there, all the good things will follow. Solution 3. Tell yourself one sentence every day. I stand up because I am alive. Have you ever had a morning like this, sitting on the edge of the bed, looking out the window, thinking you should get up to wash your face, but then you don't? Thinking maybe you should stretch a little, but instead, you sit a bit longer, just a bit longer, until the whole morning quietly slips away. And you tell yourself, I'm old now, I don't really do anything anyway. If you gave a quiet, sad smile reading that, then this might be the sentence meant just for you. I stand up because I'm still alive. Many people think standing up from a chair is a small thing, too small to mention. But at our age, standing up is a quiet declaration that we still want to live actively. Every time you stand up, you're sending your body a message: I haven't given up. I won't let myself rust. On the other hand, if you choose to stay still, not move, not breathe deeply, your body will receive a different message. Maybe I don't need to stay strong for this person anymore. And slowly, it starts letting go. There's a saying that's a bit funny, but very true. The body is like a bicycle. If you don't keep pedaling, it falls. The longer you sit, the weaker you feel. The weaker you feel, the more you avoid standing. And eventually, that hesitation becomes a soft trap, drawing you into physical and mental stagnation so gently that you don't even notice it. Research from Harvard University shows that people over 65 who maintain the habit of standing up and moving lightly every day experience a 47% slower decline in physical function compared to those who sit for long periods. What's powerful is, you don't need intense workouts or complicated routines, just awareness each time you stand up. That awareness is the starting point of all recovery. I once knew a woman named Darlene who lived alone in Michigan. She had gone through a quiet, heavy time after her husband passed. She told me, back then, I felt like a shadow, just moving between the chair and the bed. My kids live far away. I didn't want to keep calling them. One day, I just broke down crying, wondering why I felt so exhausted. Then one morning, she overheard someone at a seniors club say, every morning I tell myself, I stand up because I'm still alive. She tried it. The next morning, as soon as she opened her eyes, she repeated that phrase and stood up. Just stood. Didn't do anything else. But she felt something shift. And from that day on, she said it every morning. Gradually, she started stretching, breathing deeply, walking a few steps around the house. No one helped. No one pushed her. Just one small sentence, strong enough to pull her out of those sunken days. You don't need your kids nearby. You don't need a nurse reminding you. Every time you stand up, you're reclaiming control over your life. No one else may see it, but you know. You know you haven't folded up your story, you haven't told your body to give up. You're still living, so you have the right to stand up for yourself. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. Just feel the tiredness in your body. Notice the morning light coming through the window, or simply let today be the day you try something different than yesterday. Stand up. Gently. Steadily. Your body will remember. It will cooperate. It will know that you haven't quit. And then you'll see, not only will your limbs feel stronger, your sleep deeper, your spirit clearer, but life itself will seem just a little more open. Each time you stand up, you're telling yourself, I'm still here, and I choose to keep going. Not because someone expects you to, but because you deserve to live fully, clearly, and freely at any age. We can't turn back time, but we can absolutely slow down the process of giving up. Just standing up for a few minutes every 30 minutes, just a few rounds of in-place cycling each afternoon, just one gentle reminder to yourself each day. That's enough to keep moving forward in later life with intention, dignity, and gratitude for your own body. If this video resonates with you, please leave a comment with the number 1, hit like, subscribe, and share it with the people you care about, so that everyone has the chance to live healthy, joyful, and truly free lives, even at the age when others assume we've already stopped.